is up, makers? My name is Jack Daly, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to prepare specifically the Chinese 6040 CNC machine for actually CNCing. So I'm going to talk about, different little tips and tricks that you can use to help when you CNC, clamping, what I use, and I'm also going to show you the current project I'm working on, which is the Bird Box project, which I'm cutting panel 2. I've already cut panel 1. Some of the pieces are here. We're using 6mm MDF, and I'll get more into the details later. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got the design up on the screen. This is what we're gonna be CNCing, and the way I've done it is I've done different bodies for obviously each component. So we've got 2 hidden bodies here. Now, originally for the first panel, we used, as you can see here, the first panel we used a larger piece because we had more pieces to cut. But now I'm only cutting 3 pieces. So what I've done is, instead of using the larger panel, I've just used the shorter panel. And this is the material we're going to be using here. So I've actually gone and designed that in Fusion 360. So I think it's 300 by 400 by 6 mil. However, I've extruded it by 6.3. And now this is where I went wrong the first time. Because when I cut it the first time, I made it 6 mil. And what happened was it didn't cut deep enough, and we used too much tape, so it didn't really cut the best. So what I've done now is, by using 6.3, because I have a wasteboard on the CNC machine, this will allow it to cut all the way through. And it doesn't actually affect the wasteboard that much. Okay, so now obviously I can take it into the manufacturer, and you can see I've already made some changes, so I might need to regenerate this. And all that's doing is generating the toolpaths. Hopefully you have no errors. And this is what we're going to be, this is the manufacturing environment in Fusion 360. I'm going to do a tutorial on this. This won't be, don't use this as a tutorial, use this as tips and tricks. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. So we're going to drill it out. An interesting part, because we're doing slot together joints, if we don't drill it out, I'll show you what happens. So let's do this contour here. This contour here. If I go simulate, because I can actually simulate what it's going to look like, and if I skip to the end, you can see what happens if we don't drill it out. Here we've got excess material here, so what this means is when we fit it together, it will only fit to this part. So by drilling it out, if I close this, do setup and simulate the whole thing, go to the end. By drilling it out, you can see we can actually get there. It does look ugly, but that's just CNC. If you used a smaller cutter, you could get smaller holes, but the cutter we're using is a 4mm end mill. It's actually in the CNC machine at the moment, so we're using a 4mm end mill, and yeah, that's that. So here you can see the final cut. I'll just show you a preview. So the first thing we do is drill out all the holes, so you can see it's going through and doing it all. So we drill out all the holes, and this just means that, well, you could do it in any order, honestly, but I just feel comfortable doing the drill order first. And then we go around and we start doing the inside, because you want to work from the inside out. So for the flower here, you want to cut the circle on the inside first, because if you cut it on the outside and the flower gets loose, then the inside circle will be off center. So we cut the inside first and then work our way out. So now you can see I've gone round. For this one, on the last one, on the first panel, I did what we call, let me show you. You can do multiple depths. Now on this one, I'm only doing a single depth, and that's because I feel comfortable with the speeds and the speed rates that I'm using. I actually have a spreadsheet that I'll show you here that I'm actually making for all of them. I highly recommend this. A spreadsheet that has all of the different speeds. So we've got T1, Tool 1, and that, when we input it into Mach 3, that's what it's going to reference. Cutting diameter, so 4mm, we're using 4mm, end mill, and then we have the spindle speeds I'm using, so 1,500 RPM, sorry. And so I feel comfortable. It sort of notched them from the 2 other panels that were done. So this feels comfortable. Originally, when I first did it, I did 2 depths, which, if I show you the edging, it doesn't look too bad, and you can't see the different depths, but it's time. Time is money, and the machine time on this, I think, is 7 minutes. The last one was like half an hour. So we've really cut down on time by doing only 1 depth. So yeah. So once that's cut out, we should be good to go. So what we have to do now is, what I haven't actually done, is we got to go right click on setup, and we got to go we've got to post-process it. So to post-process, literally just post-process it, and this will convert it from the Fusion file to G-code that we can take to Mac 3, and then we can cut it. So I'll do that, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've loaded it up on the screen. So we've got Mac 3 open. I've loaded up the G-code, and we should be ready. I'm just going to test to make sure that we're actually connected, that it's not like a faulty connection. Make sure the CNC is connected, make sure we can move it. Moving it with like manual controls on the PC on what we call Mac 3. That's called jogging. So I'm going to jog it a bit, move it around, and move it into position. The tool's already in, so I don't need to do a tool change, thank God. The only thing I do need to do is clamp the material down, and there I've got some tips as well. Okay, so for some reason it's saying it's not connected. That's another thing I've got to sort out, so I'll try and figure that out. It should be connected, but it's saying it's got XHC NC USB pod, which is basically the CNC machine, and it's saying it can't connect, so that's why it's not jogging. I set the home, so then it knows that this is the 0, and anything, if I tell it to go 10, 20, 30, it knows it can, and because we've set soft limits, when it reaches 200, it can't go any further, because it can't. When it reaches here, that's the end of the machine limit. So we've added soft limits, so I think this is a 60 by 40 machine. I think the bed is 80, so when it reaches, I think 60 or 58 or something, just to be safe, we added a soft limit so it would stop, so then it wouldn't hit the sides and would be safe. So what I need to do now is I need to fit the material onto the bed, and the way I've done this, or the way I've started to do this, is if you can see, if you remember on the screen, design goes something like there's a gap here, there's a gap along here, there's a part there, part there, part there, part there. And I've added specific, it might seem accidental, but I've added specific places. So for example, and I've actually marked it onto the wood. So this spot here that I've referenced from the computer there, I've taken them and I've measured them and I've drawn them on so I can see, okay, I can put the clamp here and it will be safe. So because I can see a simulation as well, I know that the spindle head isn't going to hit or collide with the clamp. So what this also means is I can clamp in this area around here, add tape around these areas because I know there won't be any parts, and tape, double-sided sticky tape is so hard to remove. On the first one we had pure double-sided sticky tape, and I think half the parts were just ripped off because they couldn't get off. So I've gone on, I've marked them, so now we can fit them, and I have 4 clamps, so I'll put probably one there, one along here, and I'll see if I have enough space. I'll look at the design and see if I can draw on an area, because there definitely needs to be a clamp on there. Because the reason we're clamping it is not only so it doesn't move, but because we're cutting, I think there's an up cutter, because there's 2 different types of cutting. So there's up cutting and down cutting, and it's to do with where the material is extracted. So up cutting is what we're doing, is where the cutters are angled up, so, or the flutes, I think, I'm not too sure, don't quote me on this. But what happens is then all the material is lifted up, giving a better edge at the bottom, but a worse edge or finish at the top, and you can see that there. So this was done with, focus. Okay, it's not going to focus. But this was done with up cutting, so the highest panel or the highest edge isn't the best because all the material is coming up. It's also better for extraction because we can take the material out. Down cutting is where all the material is exited down, the top level, so this plane here will be the best finish. This part here will be the worst finish. So that's up cutting and down cutting. So okay, so we're just going through. It's kind of a weird angle. We've got this sort of edge along here. So if I show you this part here, no, wrong one. This one. We've got this area along here that I think we could add a clamp, just the edge of it. But looking at the CNC machine, if I take this out, looking at the CNC machine, I don't think we actually have any space because the way it's done is the clamps are on rails here, and there's because our bed is kind of weird, we have no clampage along here, so I'm going to have to put double-sided sticker tape along there, and then I'm going to have to put the 3 clamps there, there and there. Okay, so here we can see we've got this line here. I don't know if you can see that. We've got this line here, and what this line is this is where the cutter can't go. So you can see the head's there. So we're kind of off, but this is the safe zone. So we can only cut in this area here, and this area here is where we don't need to cut anything here. The cutter's only going to go in this area, so we can overlap just to reach the clamps. And I probably will do that, and then obviously I want to make sure it's aligned or straight. Video of editing it, and I've sort of realized this video has been going on for quite a while, so I'm thinking of splitting it into 2 parts. This will be the first part where I talk about what I'm making, start the fixturing and CNC machining and all that stuff, and the next video will be finalizing that, actually cutting it, finish off the fixturing, and then sanding, and then obviously the final product, and obviously the things I'll do to change, because this is really just a test piece for the CNC machine. So I was trying something new with this video. It was like 50% tutorial, and then the other 50% was like a vlog, but it wasn't a vlog of my life because it's pretty boring. But no, it was a vlog of the projects that I'm doing. So if you like this sort of stuff, subscribe. If you enjoy this new content, then like and comment. That would, you know, help indicate that this is good, you know, keep doing this, we want another video. So remember to subscribe, leave a comment if you like this stuff, leave a like if you want to see more videos like this, and remember to check me out on Instagram, at Jack Daily Designs on the hat, and also check out my new website that I've been building. Got some projects that I've been doing up there and some new stuff, so